gonna be a depressing corn harvest. Last year was the best corn harvest of my life, and this year's probably gonna be the sorriest. God's got a way of humbling you. I thought I was a good farmer last year. This year, not so much. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do our 2021 crop tour video.
2022.
Well, I wish it was 2021. We're doing our 2022 crop tour. Today we're going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's no secret that this year has been a challenge. It was wet. It was a wet spring, so what's new for West Tennessee? Like I never got it planted. And then June the 1st, the rain shut off. And over the course of about 70 days, we might have got an inch of rain, like a 6/10 rain and a 3/10 rain. Just enough to kind of keep things hanging on. So a lot of this corn we've not even looked at yet. We don't know how it's going to look. The rain finally came back about the 1st of August. The rain spigot turned on, and we've been getting good rains. So we're hoping it'll finish this corn out. We're hoping for pretty good bean yields. Our beans look tough from the road, but when you pull them back, they're loaded up really nice. So we'll see what happens on the bean crop. Robert and I have talking, we've made better beans off of ugly beans than we have. You get these beans up here about this tall and big and rank and pretty, you pull that canopy back and I ain't got no blooms or pods on them, you ain't doing no good. You don't get paid on the vine, you get paid on the fruit. So let's walk in here and see what we got. This is Cropland 4930. I believe it's about 108-day corn. You know, got some pretty ears out here on the end because they're not competing. This corn was going backwards for a long time. Some of these old tips of these leaves is, you know, dried. The old corn was giving up before it started raining. This right here is kind of a lot of the stuff we're talking about with these cover crops and stuff. You heard us talk about our Truterra field day, but this is after double crop. This is after double crop wheat and soybeans last year, and you see how it's got this mulch on it. Now this right here is kind of bare where our row cleaners run, but this, you know, this straw, you see how it's kind of dry right here, but how it's still moist up underneath that straw. It helps to hold the moisture in. And that's a lot of what they're trying to do with cover crops and stuff. You can see this corn was, you know, it's firing up at the bottom. It's trying to push everything up into the ear. So that's that. We'll walk up here a little further. I'm just gonna put my hand through here, and we're gonna pick a random area somewhere. Alright. See what we got. Filled out all the way to the end. Robert should have planted it thicker. No, that's a joke. Normally that's what I say when they fill all the way out to the end. what we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That boy, it kind of hit this corn at a bad time. We got good kernel depth. You know, not a lot of cob. So 14 by 20 by 29,000. We'll go out here and figure out what that says that's going to make. We'll put that right there where the combine will grab it as we go through. 100. There's two ways of doing this. You can do your kernel count and then divide by 100, and that figures out 81.2. Or there's another method, 14 times 20 times 29 times 0.01116. That figures out 90. So there's that. I've got those two methods there that I use. Some years one's more accurate and some the other one's more accurate. I think a lot of it just depends on what your test weight ends up being. But we may load up down here and go take a look at the 4997. It's a different variety planted in the same field, but we'll take a look at it and see how it compares. It ain't looking good, guys. It ain't looking good. Hell, I may need to stop this video. I'm hella making sick in the middle of it. Trying to find, got a little skippy stands and some spots, trying to find spots that kind of got a consistent swinging to get a true, you know, comparison. Alright. This corn's pretty well done. See how it shucks turning brown. Probably black layered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 14 by 22. See now, that's got some a little more cob than I like to see. But the depth is probably about the same as that other corn. That other one was it a white cob corn? Can't remember. But I don't know. It's looking like about 80 bushel. We'll see. Maybe it'll weigh good. So this is the last field of double crop beans we planted, and they stuck. What variety are they? What variety are these? The Stein's 4/8, I think. You got spots like this that look good. You know, they're starting to bloom. Look like they got some baby pods on them. And then hell, you got spots like this. They just now it right through here. We have some heavy straw. Might have been the drill's fault, but like right there, they come up. Hell, they just died. Didn't have no moisture. There's lack of moisture. They look like teetotal crap. It's the worst looking crop I ever had. But hell, what you do if it don't rain, it don't rain. I guess we should come in here and replanted them, but at the time, like I said, there was beans out here and they just died from lack of moisture. And that's all I got to say about it. The gator's been doing some goofy stuff this morning. I had to take it year's warranty on it. See if it goes dead. Blew the air filter out of it. The air filter was filthy, but the thing ain't got but 55 hours on it. I wouldn't have thought it would have been that nasty with just 55 hours. But it was. Everybody laughs at my air conditioned gator, but when you out chopping darn pig away and get hot and sweaty, I'm the one laughing when I get in that gator. If y'all look out there, the rest of the field's clean. It's just right here. Right here's where I come in. And I see one right there. These rows come in here at a point. I think my row shut off. Might have cut off a little sooner than they should have, but you can't come in here and spray a whole field for just this. So we're gonna chop these pig weeds and then we'll show y'all the beans. So right here we're in some sandy soils. You see how easy it is just to and this is one of the better spots because you can see how the beans look. If you pan out over that way, you can see them shorter spots. It's wider than this. It's white. But my beans look like teetotal crap from the road. If you was driving by the road and you looked at them, you'd be like, holy crap, them look god awful. But when you walk off in here, I am kind of excited about them. You see we still blooming. Got baby pods. Look like they're loaded up really well. Now they are behind. Normally our beans are further ahead than this, but maybe we'll have time to get everything filled out and do like it's supposed to. But this is this dirt right here through here is probably some of the toughest we got. Now these double crop beans are a totally different story. They little better ground. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good old farm right there. A little better variety of beans too. Yeah, better variety of beans too. That's Sign 46, EB20. Yeah. Them some of them pretty cool. Let's ease down here in the flat. Look at the beans in the bottom on some good ground. I think these beans here got pretty good potential. They got the height on them. They got the pod load. I got a few bigger pods to them. But like I said, got a long way to go. Our beans just seem to be behind this year. No crop tour video was going to turn into a pig weed chopping video. These are some replant beans. They was replanted July the 2nd. And I tell you what, it makes you kind of wish the whole daggum thing was planted July the 2nd. They look better. They look a lot better than the other beans. Right there, you see that in the top nipped out? A deer did that. Yeah, we got a few weeds in here. See there, them deer come through there and nip them leaves off. But when we was pre-planting these July the 2nd, was just kind of planting them on faith because there wasn't any moisture, was it, Bob? We was laying them in the dust, and thankfully it started raining. They actually look a lot better than the first planted beans. So this old field has had a tough go of it from the very start. We planted it and then received over 4 inches of rain what, 2 days after it was planted.
Yeah.
We no-tilled them. 15-inch rows with the drill, 140,000. Didn't get a great stand, but it wasn't enough to justify coming and replanting it. And then after that happened, the water spigot turned off. It quit raining. And you can see in the thin spots in the side of the hill showing up. And this farm still hasn't received the amount of rain that everything else has. You can see in the side of that old hill there, they're really tough. Along the fence rows, there's probably got some big oak trees around the edge. It sucked the moisture out a good 30 foot around those big oak trees. Fairly decent pod load. You know, these are 4.4s. They're still blooming a little bit, not blooming a lot. Just not expecting a lot out of this farm. If it made 35, 40, I'd probably be tickled. Don't have a lot of money invested in this farm. It's the first year we've ever farmed this farm. We got it rented worth the money. We got plans to do quite a bit of work to it this fall. It needs some dirt work done, needs some erosion issues addressed. And the plans are to run the pasture ripper across this. I think we've got some compaction issues in it to loosen this old soil up. And run that pasture ripper and then sow it down in wheat and have a wheat crop here for 23 and then have corn here in 24. Now these double crop beans here are quite a different story. And I think a lot of it may just have to do with management practices the past couple of years. This farm here, we had in continuous corn from 16 to 2020.
Yeah.
And then we had full season beans here last year in 21. And then we drilled wheat. And it's had a real heavy fertilizer program. We ran a real heavy fertilizer program last year, and I think you can tell a difference in these beans. You look across the field, you see some light green. Apparently I had one hopper that had a different variety in it. It's a lighter green than the rest of it. But as far as being loaded up though, they don't really have that many more pods or blooms than the beans that are shorter, but it just they definitely look much better. These beans went from about dead to looking pretty decent. These were the this is the field that had all the volunteer wheat on it that we rolled down with the Phoenix harrow. We planted them, got a skippy stand, come over here. We originally planted them in 15s. We come back over here and planted them in 30s. You see these cupped up leaves here? That is from that Enlist herbicide we have been spraying. Last year we did not have that trouble, but this year, I guess being that the beans were so stressed that it really cupped these leaves up. But one thing it does do is it stacks them nodes like, trying to get, that's one bean and it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 branches with pods on it. It will make them stack them nodes. to be as short as these beans are, there's still a spot or two that 30s ain't covered the ground, but to be as short as they are, these are the bushiest little short beans I've ever seen in my life. You look at my beans from the road and they look like teetotal crap, but when you get off in them, they look a lot better than they look from. Here's another thing going on. You got this bean right here, and he don't even look phased by the end lift. Look how big he is down there at the base. Let's pull him up. Well, I pulled the roots over. Look how big that bean is. And that hem. Let them bush out there. I'm telling you boys, there's something screwy going on in the neighborhood. And me and Robert ain't figured out what's going on. We need a scientist with a lab and see if this is an extend bean or if it's an enlist. Robert, we need to take that and put that in the fire. This is our farm. That's the farthest north from the shop. We chopped the pigweeds here in the corner. About the only problem we've had with pigweeds this year has been here on the edges of the field, and it's easier just to chop them than to load chemical up and spray. These are some of the very few beans that come up in that window that we planted around May the 20th. Kind of the time frame I really like for my beans to be planted. You know, you can tell they're a little skippy in spots, but they filled in and look pretty good. They get caught a rain or two. A few of the other ones hadn't caught, but they look a lot better than they did earlier in the season. But you know, they ain't quite as loaded up as some of the others that are further behind, but the pods are a lot further along. We're at pod fill right now. Still got a few blooms, so we'll just have to see what they might come fall. It ain't taking long for those pigweeds to wilt. Not taking long for me to wilt. I wonder if our neighbors are going to come chop their pigweeds. So this is the farm that we had it was the neglected farm. The neglected farm video series where we took the track hoe and done all the work to the big group of trees, knocking them back and fixing erosion problems. And we no-tilled this farm, and I'm actually quite pleased with kind of what I'm seeing. I don't know what they're going to look like when we shuck the ears back, but old corn don't look terrible. I mean, it could look a whole lot better, but you know, I was expecting to see a lot smaller ears. Yeah, and here now we're getting into the lot smaller ears. But that's like a... Well, there's the bed. Here's a decent. And as if we didn't have enough to worry about, they're talking about aflatoxin. See that? So, you know, something else to worry about. 12 by 23. This old farm here is about as tough as they come.
times 23 times 27.5 divided by 100. Figures out 76. I don't know. Like I said, this is a tough old piece of dirt here. So, you know, that good farm at the house wasn't figuring out about 80. So, but yeah, they're talking about alpha toxin, which I don't know if it's a disease or a mold or some kind of pathogen that makes the corn toxic to animals to eat if it's too high of a concentration, and that can really happen in drought type conditions. So as if we didn't have enough to worry about, we've added something else to worry about, but I ain't gonna worry about it. It's in the good Lord's hands. If it's got it, it's got it. If it don't, it don't. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's a little over 3 or 4 acre creek bottom. It runs up on a hill. Yeah, I can see where we're gonna have some trouble this year. Y'all see that mold? Got us trying to spray on this, just over this year. It's got good girth for a 14 around 8, 9, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's say 14 by 20, and now dude got this planted pretty thick. I've got pretty good kernel depth, so. Raccoons has been wearing it out. See if every one of these ears down through here. Nah, that ear right there looks decent. Damn. Things that make you say damn. As if this corn crop couldn't get sorry enough. This was gonna be some real good corn through here if we hadn't got a drought. Deals, you kind of wish the darn crop insurance would just totaled it out. Didn't have to fool with shelling this old sorry mess. Alright guys, this is actually one of the better looking fields of corn we got. This is the old Tough Hill farm that was planted, we call the lake farm, that we worked the ground up. To my knowledge, this farm has not had corn on it in over 30 years. It's only been out of production for like 4 or 5 years. And we worked the ground up. If y'all remember, it had like a layer of thin black dirt where it'd been pasture, and then had a hard layer underneath it, and we took that disc and mixed those soil profiles. So I don't know if we done the right thing doing that or not. This is LG 62C35 planted at approximately 30,000. So pull the ear and see what we got. Jared. That's them old donkey penis ears.
Makes you feel better about the other corn.
Boys, we might have one farm make over 100 bushel. Do a happy dance. Kernels ain't that big, but my God, look how many of them is it. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 by 30. And just say we got a final stand of 29,000. I see dollar signs. 18 times 30 times 29. Divided by 10. 156. In a typical year, in a better year, that would be more like 200 plus. But gonna have to do the old Snapchat of this one. So if y'all ever hear us talk about this farm over there at the lake, if you look at the top of your screen there, you can see the lake off in the distance. That's probably 2 miles as the crow flies. That's Gibson County Lake. And we'll take y'all over there and let y'all look at it in a minute. Right now we're just gonna fly over the corn, see what it looks like. As you can tell, this field is heavily terraced. It was terraced years ago, so you've got to pretty well plan it with the contour. Got lots of point rows and stuff. There, you can see some spots that's darker than others. I'm sure that's where it's got had more moisture. Where I'm panning over to now is the thinner ground. It's not as good a ground. It's all one farm now, but once upon a time it was 2 separate farms. It looks like most of that corn, as it falls down in the lower areas of the field, is going to be pretty good just looking from the air. This field back here in the back, if the deer don't eat it, is typically pretty good. What you're looking at there is normally pretty good. Now it goes back in that neck. Yeah, I see one spot that the trees have took in that neck, but overall it's probably some of the better. Well, it is the best looking corn we got, unfortunately. And there you've got there's a pasture on the other side of us, and then y'all see a good view of the Gibson County Lake. So if you ever hear us talk about the lake field, that's the reason we call it the lake field, because it's over here close to the lake. I'll do a slow pan across here, and you can see the contour, the way the land rolls. This is a very rolling farm. And as I pan across over on the other side of the road, on the other side of that tree line, that is our corn too. That is a very steep hill that has lots of big terraces that was put in years ago. 2 years ago we actually had corn there, and it didn't make but 138. But even though it's rolling, it's got a lot of low-lying areas too. And those low-lying areas, a lot of that drowned it out and got a reduced stand. But in a year like this, normally them low-lying areas thrive. We're over here on this good farm. We've got it frog jump. 75 acres over here. This is my dad's home place where he grew up. We got this is our 30s versus 15 on large, I guess you'd call it large scale plot. Right here we're in the 15s. We'll let y'all get in here and look at the pod load. Let y'all be the, yeah, we gotta get over here with an insecticide. Y'all see that? A bug has done ate through the pod and ate that bean out of there. So we gotta get over here with an insecticide and spray these. We got some defoliation, but what worries me more is that hole ate through that pod. So we got to get over here and spray these. But these are the 15s. Y'all see the pod load. Of course, y'all can see the shriveled up leaves. That's a problem we've had this year with the enlist. But I mean, other than the shriveled up leaves, I mean, hell, you can't complain with the things. Look at all the pods on the son of a guns. I think instead of making them make a big old vine, they concentrate on putting pods on. But you can look at that field over there. There just ain't nothing to me prettier than a field of clean 30-inch row beans. It looks like Iowa, you know. Now the 15s versus the 30s, something I have realized is Climate Field View sends me aerial imagery about once a week on fields and showing the biomass, and the 15s are starting to show up on the map, showing that it has more biomass. On the map it shows that it's a darker green than these 30s over here. Will that translate to yield? I don't know. But I don't know. I believe the 15s might beat the 30s. I really thought we would have a lot more branching on the 30s. I mean, we still got a good pod load. I don't know. We might have shot ourselves in the foot by planting 30s, but you know, saying what I say now, we wouldn't have got these beans planted before that big rain event if we hadn't been running both planters. So, you know, we may give up a little on the yield on the 30s, but I feel like we would have gave up a lot more getting the beans planted later. So we'll go up here and we'll fly the drone across this field, let y'all get an aerial view, and that'll have a drone view of some corn and a drone view of some beans. We gotta get over here and spray these with an insecticide, and we might stick a shot of fungicide in. It'll be a cheap option if we do, because we kind of late to the game if you for putting fungicide on. See how we got very few flowers left. But if it'll promote plant health and keep these beans healthy all the way through to fill that pod, it may make a difference. Fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. Okay guys, over here we got the 30s versus the 15s. The 15-inch row beans are on the left, and the 30-inch row beans are on the right. And I never dreamed there would be that much difference looking at them from the sky. Those are the exact same variety of beans planted the exact same day in the exact same conditions. I can't figure out why the 15-inch row beans have a lighter looking color than the 30s. If you'll scroll over here to the right, you'll see that hole there. It was so wet when we planted these beans that I had to plant around that wet hole. It's amazing how much has changed so fast, how it was so wet when we were planting in the spring versus how dry it got in June and July. Virtually no rain in June and July. You can see the holes where the beans drowned it out there. And you can tell the right side of the field versus the left. The left side over here has always been a little more wet natured. This crop has been a challenge from the very beginning. And the way with the market inputs and everything, hell, we should have known it was going to be that way. I'm gonna try to fly y'all down here and to get a little closer view from the air of the 15s versus the 30s. But there you see it. Those tracks you see, that's my sprayer tracks from where we sprayed it. This little path, the bigger path you see here, like I said, it was plenty wet when we planted these, and that's where we come out with the tractor and drill, and you can see the path we come. It packed the beans in the ground and they wasn't able to come up. But guys, my crop normally looks so much better than this. It's just been a real challenge this year. But that's pretty much it. I'll try to get y'all a view of the whole farm here. I'm gonna swing around and pan around. We're doing this at a speed of 24 miles per hour. But it'll be interesting to get some yield data on the 30s versus 15s. Right now I'm gonna say the 15s. Right now I say the 15s look better. But you can't never tell till you put the combine in them. Now you gotta sneak up on it. It's got them sensors on the bottom. You put your hand on there, it goes, holy crap, I'm about to hit the ground. It flies up, so you gotta do the old sneaky sneak on it. I don't know whether to laugh, cry, pray, throw up, or go get drunk. Or just do all of them and cover all my bases. This is normally on the crop, I kind of have a pretty good general idea on what stuff's gonna make. Kind of excited about my beans. I think it may surprise us. Corn, I done some rough figuring. Here. And I'm thinking we're gonna come in. Now this is Dylan's prediction, so y'all can take it what it's worth. Cause I think we're gonna have some corn in 120 to 130 bushel range. And I think we're gonna have some corn in the 50 to 60 bushel range. And I think we're gonna land somewhere around 80. So 80 times, and just say I got my corn figured at $6.50. I think I actually got it sold a little better than that. That's $520 an acre. And what did we figure out we had in this corn? Just a tad over 500.
Yeah.
Or might be getting close to 600. And then our crop insurance guarantee is 112 bushel to the acre at the coverage I got, which is 75% coverage. I wish I had taken out 85% this year, but if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't even planted an acre of corn this year. So you take 112 minus 80, that's 32 bushel an acre, times 580 is the crop insurance price. That's $185 an acre, plus the 520. So we're looking at $705 an acre. When before we should have been looking, let's just say be conservative and say 150 bushel to the acre times $6.50 a bushel at $975. And what did I say? 705.
Yeah.
So that puts us about $270 an acre shorter than where we would have liked to ended up this year on 350 acres of corn. That's $94,500 worth of lost revenue thanks to this drought. And that's on the conservative end. We normally like to be around 170 bushel to the acre. But you know, at least unless the crop insurance tries to screw us over somehow or another, which is a good possibility. They like to try, they're kind of like old Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. They will find a way. And this is a very important phone call that I got to catch, because this is my agronomist. So thank you for joining us on our crop tour. Hope you enjoyed seeing what the crop looked like. I did not enjoy seeing it. I do think we've got some potential in the soybeans. I think we could possibly have a good soybean crop. Pretty optimistic about it from what I see. Like I said, corn yields are going to be off drastically, probably as much as 50% off of what we normally see. So, you know, that part's kind of depressing, but it's just part of it.